Hi, welcome to the Phoenix Rod and Gun Club. This is the steel practice bay, and if you're a member of the club, you can get a key to use this bay provided that you can show competence drawing from your holster and basic range etiquette. Before I drove to the range today, I did make sure to check the calendar so that I knew I could get in and practice on this bay. And before I walk up to the bay, I'm going to make sure that I have my eye protection and my ear protection ready to go. If I'm the first one arriving at this bay today, it will be locked. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. And as soon as I step in, the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure to sign the liability waiver. You cannot shoot unless your signature is on this paper, so be sure to do that. We can see that the range is pretty slow today, but also remember that in this bay, we limit it to 8 people. Once I'm signed in, I'm gonna close the gate, but don't lock it. When I went to the website to be sure that the calendar showed that this bay was empty for me to practice on right now, I also made sure that I had the right firearm and ammunition for this bay. So be sure to double check you have the right firearm and the right ammunition for the bay that you're practicing on. And also follow basic range etiquette. No smoking in the bay, and please avoid alcoholic beverages before and during your training session. If you do notice that anything is not functioning or broken on the bay, you can report that to the range office as soon as possible. You're also allowed to bring one guest with you, provided that they are following all the rules and maintaining proper etiquette. And please remember that they will be your responsibility while you're here practicing on this bay. So once we're in the bay and ready to go, maintaining range etiquette is the top priority here. I mean, just think about how would you want the guy or gal next to you to treat you and your equipment. You kind of want to pass that along. The golden rule really goes a long way. So you'll notice that there are 2 sets of tables. The rear table is really meant for storing gear or loading magazines, things of that nature. And the front table is where you're going to uncase your firearm. You want to make sure before you touch your firearm in its case that there is nobody downrange. You will never handle a weapon if anybody is downrange. Please be sure that we're clear. Okay, so I'm looking downrange and I can clearly see that nobody's there. So I'm going to go ahead and take my cased firearm and I'm going to bring it up to the front table, which is where we will go ahead and get it ready for practice. Okay, so I have confirmed that it is clear downrange and it is safe to uncase my firearm. While I'm doing this though, I am going to be mindful if other shooters do walk up to the line. And I want to make sure that I am not setting up too close to anybody right next to me, just to avoid spraying them with brass or anything of that nature. And I want to watch my verbiage. It is a family range, so we just want to be courteous to each other. Now we're ready to shoot. Okay, so we want to make sure that the range is clear and has been declared hot. Let's talk about targets. You want to make sure that you're setting up to shoot the targets that are directly in front of you. Please avoid shooting in any kind of diagonal fashion, as that is unsafe to other shooters in the range. You can shoot any of the targets that are out there, but the larger targets are not to be moved. And if they're not set up properly, please don't shoot at them. You can, however, move the smaller targets that are in the back, assuming that the range has been declared cold and it is clear. And please be sure, the number one thing here when shooting steel is never shoot any steel within 10 yards of you. All right, the range is hot. Now let's shoot. All right, so we just had a fun day at the range and now it is time to pack up and go home. First thing I'm going to do is clear my firearm. I have confirmed that nobody is downrange. Okay, so 3-point safety check. It is clear. I'm going to go ahead and case it. And now I can walk it back to the gear table. All right, so I've made sure that my area is clean. I have brought my own paint to paint my targets. I have picked up my brass. I'm going to dump it or take it home. So I'm packed up, I'm cleaned up, and I'm ready to leave the range. So I'm going to make sure to sign out where I signed in. And if I'm the last one to leave, I'm going to go ahead and lock it back up. If not, I'm going to politely let whoever is left shooting that they can lock it when they're through.